and go.
Welcome to session one of a new homebrew campaign called Tales of Mateia. I am Alex. I will be your DM for this adventure that we all shall be going on. We're gonna have 4 players in this campaign. If you guys just want to go and say who you are, that would be great. Starting from the left on the Roll20 screen. You know
Oh,
who you are.
perfect. Yeah, I know who I am. And who I am is a pie guy. And
All
I
right.
mean, it's really simple. Guy pies. Yada yada yada.
Next up, we have.
Hi, I'm May, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm excited to be here.
Next up, we have.
My name is Michael. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm also very excited to be here.
And last but certainly not least, we have.
My name's Mackenzie. I'm a she, her pronoun individual, and I am ecstatic to play this game.
All right.
Already the stakes have been raised. We're going from excited to ecstatic.
Oh, and yes, my apologies. My pronouns are any flavor of pie.
so this campaign will be starting at level 9. Um, quickly, I'll just roll through the few little house rules that we have, just so if anybody watches, they're like, "What the crap are you doing?" Or if we forget, we have them. Plus, I already have them written down. So potions, bonus action for yourself, give them to another player as an action, or you can take an action and drink the whole thing yourself and get the whole benefit. For critical hits, we'll do it like we do in the normal DDG games, where it's dice roll plus max damage dice and all applicable modifiers. Flanking is going to be present in the game, so as long as you're in a flanking position, you will have advantage on rolls. Um, then follow the bardic rules, be nice to people. Um, we're going to do something a little bit different, and if there's ever death saving throws, we're just going to have the players whisper them to me so that only me and that player know what they are. And then for our paladin specific person, you get to use lay on hands as a bonus action for yourself. So
Huzzah!
you get to be a healing person for yourself. Um, I have a little 45-second musical interlude I'm going to start, and then once that is complete, we will just go ahead and get this campaign underway. So here we go. It's in groovy. Welcome to Mateia. The year is 1050 AS, or after separation. The separation being the cataclysm that destroyed most of the livable land on this plane. The methods in which this land has come to be divided is outnumbered only by the differences of the people who live here. The kingdom of Elsafacia to the southwest, bordered by the range of 12th Mountains and the Everdark Ocean. This constitutional monarchy thrives on the free will of its people and the yearning for knowledge and trade. This kingdom yearns to be the golden beacon of perfection and civilization, with hopes to claim back what was lost in the separation. Opposite in belief, but central to the continent, is that of the Swiftwanese Empire, ruled by King Alistair Marfont. Once a captain in the Royal Guard, he rose to power in a coup not more than 30 years ago. He now rules the empire with an iron fist, slowly encroaching his military power over the borders of his neighbors, proliferating political and military tensions on a daily basis. To the eastern side of Mateia, we find the Motalian theocracy, a nation of many religions where zealotry is venerated and atheism is seen as the highest form of barbarism and depravity. Recently, in the last 15 years, technology and magic have merged and become more widespread, leading to new discoveries and adventure within this world. With the beginnings of this new era, known as the inversion, the magic of artifice is beginning to permeate to all corners of the livable world, leading to marvels such as mechanical humanoids, self-sustaining machinery, new schools of thought, military advancement, but most important of all, the ability to travel by air. Hundreds of miles off the southeasternmost coast, bound to the ever-dark floor with chains seemingly large enough to imprison a god, the Isle of Ataraxia floats high above the clouds. While obtaining the secrets of Ataraxia are of great importance to the ruling classes of Mateia, this is not necessarily where our story begins. Villistus, walking, nay, almost flowing in front of you, a woman with hip-length hair, color like the seasons, changing from a deep oaky brown at the roots, going all the way, graying all the way to a near snow-white point at her hips. Sitting atop of her head, a perfectly manicured crown of silver and emerald. Emanating a warm, welcoming aura, you follow. And you stay step in step with the woman you know to be Queen Priscilla Marfont. So, Villistus, please go ahead and give me a quick description of what you look like as a child.
Oh no, I have to remember everything. I believe as a child, little Valista is a blue-skinned tiefling girl. Um, yeah.
Okay. As you're kind of remembering walking side by side with this woman, you blink and bam, time seems to just pass instantaneously. You lay in your bed, almost emanating this fog-like aura of cold from your ever-paling skin. Your horns are developing a little bit more every day. Laying there, eyes closed, almost dreaming, focused on the breath, on your breath, you hear the ever comforting, yet icy voice of your only true friend. I have a gift and a warning for you, Villistus. First, the gift. And you suddenly feel sprouting from your very cold blue arm on the right a large piece of ice, which as it starts to sprout and grow, it forms into a shape of a small, frosty, humanoid-like creature. And as your arm gets heavier and heavier, as this thing forms and grows in size, it just kind of breaks off at your fingertips and stands on its own 2 feet. And you have this small, icy shaped humanoid staring back at you, with these deep, dark blue, black, almost ice cubes for eyes, almost an emotionless face. Then you hear the voice again. Secondly, the warning. They've learned of our plan and they're coming for you. They plan on sacrificing you to their blood god and bolstering their ranks through hemocraft magic. Go to Ataraxia. You'll find safety and strength there. You'll find others who share your connection to me. Seek them out, unite them, and accomplish our goals. And you see that the face of your friend is kind of almost in the fog, kind of floating in front of you, just looking at you, trying to read to see if you understand what it is that they're asking for you to do, and waiting to see if you have any concerns with what they're asking you to do.
I both in my head and saying out loud, I simply just respond with, "This will be done."
The fog face nods at you and just fades away, the fog permeating out of the window. The face fades, the voice fades, and you feel yourself falling drifting peacefully back to sleep. And you hear, "Find the traitor! Look through every room if you have to!" You hear being yelled from the hall as you bolt upright, startled. Looking around you, you find yourself in a strange bed. And after a quick moment of trying to remember where you are and how you got there, you remember that you snuck on board an airship heading for Atraxia in hopes of escaping the Swiftwanese military. Looking around, you see a single barred window, the bed that you're on with all of its dressings and coverings, a side table, a chamber pot which is empty as it's yet to be used, a bucket of fresh water with towels, and a door which looks like it's made of a weaker wood that could be easily broken but sturdy enough to hold up to, being a door. The smell in this room is that of almost like newly carpentered furniture, but the furniture doesn't look like it's new. So you get the feeling that this may be the maiden voyage of this airship. Anything you wish to do after hearing what you heard?
Is this like a living quarters or a cell?
It is a small bedroom. It seems to be like a small sleeping quarters.
Okay. I would like to put my ear to the door and see if I hear anything else.
Make for me a perception check, please.
Alright. First roll of the game. First roll of the campaign. Natural 1.
With a 14, you hear more voices yelling, "Find the traitor! Look for a blue or a white, a really, really white-skinned person. They might have horns. Look for wherever it might be cold." And you hear that they're kind of describing what they believe you to look like. Whether or not it's completely accurate is yet to be determined, but you can hear heavy footprints moving quickly back and forth outside the door. You hear voices telling people to find the traitor, look through every room if you have to, and you hear down the hall different doors being opened, things being rummaging inside, and then doors slamming shut, and voices and people walking back and forth.
Okay. I would like to open the door and if possible, the same time I open the door, I have one simple question.
Hmm.
Is it safe to assume I have all of my abilities at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so the second I open the door, I would like to cast Mislead.
Okay. As you open the door, you are face to face with a guard whose hand was at the door handle, about to open it as you pulled it in front of him. And now all of a sudden, instead of seeing one of you, there's two of you. And the guard looks back and forth between the two, and
Oh, well, I'm invisible.
mm, well, the door swung open, and he now sees one, and he looks very confused. Um, and with that, Naomi, standing in the throne room, flanked by royal guards and members of the military who are beneath your station, you find yourself face to face with King Alistair Marfont, the current ruler and militant leader of the Swiftwinnies Empire. Um, how are you feeling as you stand before the king? This is not something that you have done many times. You have been in his presence a couple of times um, with the rest of your guard and the rest of your units, but you never have been asked to present yourself to them effectively by yourself with just a few others. How are you feeling in this moment?
There is a mix of nervousness, um, presenting myself to someone that I value so highly, but there's also excitement. It's the next step in what I want to do with my life, and I can't believe I'm here.
As you are standing there, feeling this nervousness, looking up at the king, um, King Alistair, you see that his brow is furrowed with a look of exhaustion and an odor akin to that of farm animals. Um, and he looks down to you with great poignancy and says, "Do you accept this great request of the kingdom? Do you agree to bring honor to yourself, your family, and your fellow countrymen by bringing this usurper to the capital to face justice for their crimes against myself and the kingdom?"
Yes, I do, Your Majesty.
Okay. We believe that she is in the Motalian theocracy somewhere, and aiming to travel to the more recently discovered region of Ataraxia to escape our law. Um, I'm going to send a small unit of guards with you to assist you. They are under your command. You are their commander, as you have found yourself at quite a reasonable station within the military. Um, do you have any questions regarding the request?
No questions, but the documentation has been sent uh, with my troop in order to pinpoint exactly who we need to collect and bring back. Is that right?
Yes. Um, we actually have a very well-drawn image of her, well, from a year or so ago. She was one of the consorts of the queen, so we have the best possible image that we can of her. Whether she's tried to change her appearance or not is, well, out of our purview, but we have this, and you see that he kind of snaps his fingers and waves to one of his assistants to bring you a hand-drawn image of what they believe the usurper um, looks like, and they write the name underneath it, and the name alongside this usurper is Villistus, and that is who your target is. They outfit you with the horses and the gear and the equipment and the supplies that you'll need to undertake this mission. Fast forwarding a little bit, a week of hard travel with some minor delays on the main thoroughfare, and you find yourself at the primary airship dock about 5 miles west of Kark, the capital city of the Motalian theocracy. Commander, one of those under your tutelage says, "We have reason to believe that she's on that ship there." And they point to a great airship, and I'm actually going to move you guys all to the airship page so you can see the airship. They describe this airship as having big metallic, almost shark fin wings on either side, stacked too high with these robust fire-based engines. And from there, you see, as you look up, you see the entirety of this airship. And as you look at it, kind of jaw dropped in wonder, you've not seen an airship like this before. You do notice, though, that the ship is not solely sitting on the ground. It's hovering 30, 40 feet off of the ground, and it looks like it's ready to take off soon, but it is currently still chained to the dock that is attached to. You notice that there are passengers of all manner and station boarding. Anyone from who you would see in the Royal Council to pedestrians and peasants, from blue-collar workers, carpenters, masons, all the way up to those who hold higher military distinction. You've seen some officers who have retired recently, but you have seen a few. And the same person who you're in command of looks back at you and says, "If we go now, we can hopefully catch her by surprise, take her into custody, and get off the ship before it takes off." And he looks at you, kind of waiting for direction on whether or not to go ahead and board the ship.
Agreed, we proceed, but we do not cause any wherewithal. She needs to come peacefully or she will come unconscious, but we will not cause any wherewithal for the ship. However, I do want to leave one person behind. If we have not returned, we do need to stall the takeoff, or else we will be stuck in the air for the time being.
Understood, ma'am. And one of the guards just kind of sticks his hands up, and he goes, and you see him kind of go to the front of the boarding line and kind of stop people from boarding. It looks like there's only maybe 10 or 12 people left in the boarding line, but he's talking to the ticket taker at the front of the line. You and the remaining 4 of your cohort boards the ship, and a few minutes after you board the ship, you hear a very loud whistle and a deep rumbling voice, almost magically enhanced, that calls out, "All aboard!" And as you look down, you see one of your soldiers, like, arms flailing in protest to anybody he can find there to try and stop the taking off of the ship. But you see that the chains that were binding you to the ground have been released. The platform that you guys were walking up to get onto the boat has been drawn in, and you are starting to, you feel a great lurch as the ship is able to effectively remove itself from the bindings of the earth and slowly begin to rise into the sky. You find yourself and your 4 soldiers on this strange ship, which looks much different on the inside than what you were expecting. The outside looks very mechanical and very advanced and very futuristic, whereas the inside smells like newer carpentry, like somebody had just built it, almost like that of a welcoming hearth of a home located deep in the woods. As you look around, you see grease-covered maintenance workers who you can smell the sweat that they're permeating as they're making sure that this airship is able to rise and maintain its course and its anti-gravitational flight pattern. You see there are those who are wealthier spending time together, kind of catching up. It looks like there are some people who are making business deals, other people who are making some other personal conversation. You also kind of hear off in the distance a performer of sorts. You're not so much focused on the socializing of what's going on in the ship as you have a mission that you are trying to complete. Go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
Alrighty. Perception. 15.
So as your soldiers kind of fan out throughout the top level of this airship, and you're listening and looking around, you do start to hear rumors pass back to you from your soldiers of a near albino woman who kind of keeps to herself, but due to the lack of coloration on their skin is starting to grab some attention, even though they're not doing anything that's attention worthy. Just their general aesthetic and the way they look is garnering some second and tertiary looks from others. Those who are seen as upper class have stated that they see her as rude, just for not wanting to answer their questions or spend time fulfilling whatever request they have of a person who looks as unique as this person might. As you start to hear more and more rumors of where this person may be, you kind of put two and two together and think that if you haven't seen her in the public spaces, maybe they're in private spaces. And you eventually make your way down into the sleeping quarters of the boat, where there are multiple rooms lining each of the walls, at least 10 deep, front to back. And as you command your soldiers to check every room, they're knocking on doors, opening doors, running in, rummaging through rooms, slamming doors. You are taking heavy, meticulous steps down this hallway, watching over the shoulders of your soldiers as they're doing their job. And as you start to make your way towards the end of this hallway, you see that one of your guards goes to open this door, but the door opens without his assistance. And then who you believe to be Ballista, based on the description you have been given, is standing in the door looking at your guard. So, Anthea, go to Atraxia, find the sacred colony, and join your spores with theirs. This is the only true way to reverse what your magic has caused. These words from a strange, disembodied voice play over and over in your head every time you close your eyes and you attempt to rest. It was 3 years ago today that most fateful day happened, where you felt the rumbling, you heard the fall, and then you saw the wooden sword. Flash forward. He's not the same as he was, Dahlia says to you. I'm sorry to say that your magic helped, but it also made it worse. Give me a few days to try and study the situation, and I'll try and figure out if there's something more natural that we can use to kind of reverse what has happened. I don't know exactly what you did, and it's not something I've ever tried to reverse before. It looks like, he's breathing, but it's not like he's not who he was. Give me some time to try and study it, try and figure out what it is. I'll keep him comfortable the best I can and do what we can do. But I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. That statement from your most trusted teacher is a constant reminder of what you've been searching for since that day. And as As you recall that memory, as you're just kind of standing, waiting in the boarding line for the memento, the airship that is hovering 40 feet in the air, chained to the earth with its boarding ladder, allowing people to still board, you see a small militant group led by a glaive-wielding woman emanating a powerful presence of command and authority. And as you're kind of taking in the combination of this memory, this new creation of this airship, and all these people who are both excited and nervous at the same time to board, and watching these militant folks kind of board in a hurry like there's something they're searching for, you hear kind of calling over the crowd, Miss Linwood. And as you pull your gaze from your surroundings, you find and you meet the eyes of an older human gentleman wearing what seems to be soil-covered overalls. Miss Linwood, that is you, correct? And they approach you.
Yes, that's my name.
Oh, fantastic. We've been waiting for you. My name is Samuel, and I'll be taking you to our private conservatory aboard the airship. If you would be willing to follow me, we can just go ahead and we can skip the rest of this line. You're, well, you're too important to have to wait in line. We need your knowledge and your expertise, and we believe that we have things that can help you too. So if you would, please, and he kind of holds out his hand as to kind of lead you in the direction to bypass the rest of the people waiting in the boarding line to take you up to the airship.
Of course. She'll kind of like adjust her glasses and put away her little notebook that she's had out and follow his lead.
As you follow, you see one of the military soldiers stands in front of the boarding line with his shield at the ready, just kind of holding it up, not like in a defensive position, but more of just holding it rather than letting it hang low. He's more of just holding it as like his waist, mid-chest region, and holding one hand up to the boarding line, telling them they must wait. There is an important mission that they're trying to accomplish, and they cannot allow anybody else to board the ship. And as you and Samuel seem to walk past, he goes to try and stop you, and Samuel just looks up and goes, "No, son, you don't get to tell me or Miss Linwood what we can and cannot do in the ship that I own. Goodbye," and walks you and himself directly up aboard the airship, leaving the military soldier just kind of shocked, stunned, and that almost look of white, ghost-like paleness from when you were just flabbergasted on what you did not expect to happen. As you make your way up and into the airship, you see all manner of passengers, from the ship workers to scientist-looking folk who are wearing similar overalls to that of Samuel, some with soil on them, others with looking like they have char marks on their face and their eyebrows a little singed, some smell of actual burnt hair. Many well-to-do folks here, and some not so much, and as well as just some random ship guard. They're not as well armored or well dressed as the military who are there, but they are seemingly hired hands to protect those who have boarded their ship, just in case anything happens, if there's any kind of crime or any kind of petty theft or anything on the boat. They're more of security personnel to make sure everyone is comfortable. After a few minutes of walking with Samuel and taking in the sights and the smells of many different people, different oils, there are people who seem to be trying to sell off their homemade oils of lavenders and cloves, and some even smell like charcoal, which is interesting because trying to find charcoal scented oil is very hard, and it's a very unique kind of smell. It's comforting yet disconcerting at the same time, as well as other people who are trying to hawk their food and their wares. That just seems to be what they do as far as how they earn their living. But eventually you smell it first, and then you see it. The scent of decomposing earth hits your nostrils like a comforting meal after a hard day's work. Your senses tingle, and you kind of feel your spore network within yourself feel like it's almost coming alive for just a split second. It's like you're getting goosebumps, but internally, and it's like your spores are activating, like they're rearing to connect with whatever it is that has brought that out in them. As you enter into this conservatory with Samuel, there are a handful of other workers who kind of are busy doing what they're doing, and as Samuel takes 2 steps ahead of you, you hear him go and clears his throat with some force, and at that point, all of the workers in this room kind of stop, turn, drop what they're doing, and they all rush to be as close to you as they can without encroaching upon your personal space. They stay about 2 feet away from Samuel, so a solid 4 to 5 feet from you. But they all look at you like students willing to be taught. They start just badgering you with questions about what it's like to increase, grow, and hone spore networks. They've heard tales of how over the past 3 years, since you have gone out, since that fateful day, you've been trying to figure out ways to utilize your spores to help solve the problem that you accidentally caused. But through doing that, whether you've meant to garner attention or fame, whether you meant to or not, it has happened. These scientists, for lack of better terms, are taking notes. They're asking you all these different questions about how you managed to expand your spore network to the reaches that it's gone, and how you've managed to improve it as you have. And Samuel said, he kind of looks at them and kind of waves as to quiet them down, and looks to you and says, as you can tell, they're very excited to meet you. You have quite the renown with some of us.
I wasn't expecting this kind of welcome.
Well, the person that reached out to you to bring you here is not actually on the ship. She's finishing up one of her other experiments, and she'll be joining us probably in a week or 2. Her name is Ellie Smitherson. We call her the mad scientist Smitherson because she's woo. He kind of makes the crazy symbol with his fingers on the other side of his head. But as out there as she is so very good at what she does. And she might have a way to harness your spore network to help cure fatal injuries and sicknesses. She thinks between her knowledge and your expertise in your field, no pun intended, we may be able to make some medicinal breakthroughs that can help the majority of the continent. But again, she's not here. She'll be getting on a ship in a couple of weeks and then joining us in 3 to 4, depending on the weather.
I look forward to meeting her. Thank you.
Is there anything I can get you for now? Otherwise, I'm going to send them back to work, and I have things I need to tend to as well.
I think I'm all right. If it's all right, I'll just look around and see what you have here in the conservatory.
Absolutely. I would recommend exploring the ship whenever we take off. There's a space for performers. There is a lot of people trying to sell strange foods. Some are trustworthy, some aren't, but you only know if you test it out. And as he's explaining some of the features that are on this ship and kind of telling you where the sleeping quarters are as well, you feel your whole body kind of lurches as the ship moves, and then you start to feel it lifting off of the ground even higher and starts to slowly and then quickly picking up speed, rising up into the sky. And as this is happening, you start to hear people talking in a small commotion, more so mimicking the sounds of asking around. And as you kind of lean your head out the door to the door to the conservatory, you see these military soldiers are kind of asking people around. They're asking different questions. One of them approaches you and goes, have you seen a very pale-skinned woman? Maybe horns, maybe not. I don't know. Have you seen her anywhere? Does that sound like anyone you've seen since you've been here?
Do I roll for that to see if I have?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll perception or history.
Let's do perception.
So you haven't seen them, but you've heard people just kind of talking about a person who is garnering some attention. You don't know if that's who they're talking about, but it could be. But you haven't seen anyone that specifically matches the description that they gave you.
Okay. No, I haven't seen anyone like that.
Okay. So if you do, just find me or the other 3 people that are dressed like me, or well, you can't really miss her. She is menacingly commanding and terrifying. She is our commander. She has this big glaive. Don't get on her bad side. She might cut you. Bye. And just takes off running. And as he takes off, you kind of see that the people who are kind of close to you, geographically, like 5 to 10 feet away from you out in the halls, are kind of looking around, kind of trying to figure out what this obscure soldier is asking about, because some people have seen this person, some may have not, but it just seems like a very specific yet strange request to ask of just random people on a boat. But you continue your way through the ship, kind of meandering around, looking and seeing what there is to see, and you stumble upon one of the more public spaces inside the Memento, where you see there's a lot of bartering going on, there's a lot of music and performance playing, and in this primarily public space of this airship, Memento Pax, you are putting on a show of your creation magic. You're animating objects here and there for children, for adults, kind of garnering their attention and in creating laughter and some happiness on this somewhat bland and not quite jovial atmosphere of the ship. Animating objects, creating magical lights and images. I mean, as you do this, almost as a second nature, you find yourself drifting back to a conversation you had about 6 months ago as you were getting ready to leave your homeland. Are you all packed and ready to go? A smaller statured elven woman whose name is Omelia Rehais, who you know to be the leader of the council. She says to you, it's going to be a long time before we see you again. Are you ready?
Yes. I think as ready as I can be when one's ever ready for the big shift. In the beginning, the end not yet in sight. In the middle, perhaps somewhat rocky, but oh, sorry, I'm carrying on. You asked if I'm yes is the answer to your very sensible and sharp mind.
She kind of smirks a little bit and looks at you and goes, I'm glad it's you. You're always in such a good mood, and, well, we need someone with your kind of, shall we say, attitude to do what we're asking. She kind of starts to recall information that you have been told for years. Almost a decade, you've been told this same type of story over and over, but only you, and it only really ever applied to you. She says, well, the prophecy, as you know, it states that, well, in a year from now, you see that she starts wringing her hands, kind of squeezing and adding pressure to her wrists, almost like her joints are starting to get a little bit stiff. she does look older for an elf, so you imagine she's multiple hundreds of years old, and she's just feeling some wear and tear of time. Um, but in less than a year from now, well, destruction's gonna rain upon our land, and anything left is gonna be destroyed. That being said, um, we believe that with your, well, if you can continue to master your powers of creation with your magic and your subconsciousness, you will be able to save us, to save the home, to keep us from losing everything that we've spent so long building, between the elves and the satyrs and the others who have come to live with us and come to enjoy a happier life. We think that with your specific skill set, that you, well, if anything, you can at least prevent total annihilation of our culture. And as you look, and she's getting more and more kind of tensed, her eyes start to kind of well up just a little bit at the what you know to be the thought of your home and elven and satyr combined culture just being destroyed, because this culture is something that's very unique. Normally there aren't two very opposite races that are able to live together in such harmony, blend their cultures in such a way, especially when one of them have lifespans that are tenfold longer than the other. But it's the culture and society that have been built where you come from is that of inclusion and growth and development, and taking all the good from everyone who's there and putting it together, and then taking the bad or the weak points and kind of building on those to try and make sure that even the weakest link of this society is strong enough to keep the rest afloat and keep it building, and always trying to improve on what was there. And the thought of that no longer being present on this plane, every single time she tells you this story, she cries. It's just the thought of complete total annihilation of culture, a way of life, is something that she doesn't seem to be able to bear. And she looks at you and goes, can we count on you? You're the best of us, and we don't think, we know. We are the surest we've ever been that you, she wipes the tears from her right eye, that you're gonna bring hope, and you're gonna build the hope for us. And as you kind of look around, you see that menagerie of different residents of your land have kind of come together, and people of all ages, all sizes, elves, satyrs, a couple humans, and everything in between. And the majority of the people in your culture are elves and satyrs, but you do have a smattering of others. But they're all looking at you, and they're all beaming these encouraging smiles and these wide, shining eyes, and just trying to put forth this image of hope and belief and trust that you're going to be able to bring them through this. How do you feel right now?
I will take a deep and slow, flourishing bow and say, "My lady, for this grace, I thank you. I hope to do justice and honor to this mission." And I will wink at her and smile kindly, and with my fingers just a weave of magic wrought as the tear slides down her cheek to pull it into a shining mote of water that flits through the air and then grows to first appear to be a butterfly, and then a ship, and then a star, and then it erupts in a shower of sparks as a symbol of hope for the mission I may bring light to the darkness we are currently facing this community.
She smiles, and the children that are in the audience start clapping and jumping around in awe at your just unfathomably just smooth ability to create things out of almost nothing. And Omelia looks at you and says, "You're going to need this." And she pulls out this this piece of leather, It's about 4 inches by 4 inches, and it's got some writing in Elvish on it. And she says, um, this is a travel pass. It will allow you to more quickly move through the through the different countries and nations without being stopped too much. Basically, it's a passport that she's giving you that allows you free pass through any government-controlled checkpoint or getting onto any type of government-controlled transport. And then those that aren't controlled by the government, it does give you mechanically, it gives you advantage to get your way through. But roleplay-wise, it allows others to be more trusting of what you're telling them that you're going there to do.
Right.
And she says there is something else that I think will be helpful in your trip. And she leans over and she pulls out of a small bag that she carries. She pulls out this scroll. It's only maybe 4 inches long, and she unrolls it. And in Elvish, she reads to you what it says. There's a legend that there's a temple hidden above the Everdark Ocean. We've never seen it, but it's rumored that there's knowledge from the God of creation that can be granted to anyone that they find worthy. You'll be blessed, and I think if you can get this blessing, it will help increase your ability to create even more, and it'll help aid in saving our heritage. And she hands you the scroll. It doesn't say where it is specifically. It just describes that there's this giant floating island that is somewhere out above the Everdark Ocean. And you, having not ever left your homeland before, don't know about the island that's currently chained and floating above the ocean. But she hands you that as well as the travel pass. And as easily as you find yourself drifting into this memory, you find yourself drifting out of this memory. And as you're continuing this performance, you see something that you think you recognize. More of a thing than a person. But as you, just from the distance of which you're looking down this hallway, you look and you see this hat. This very large pointed hat that just kind of like seems to be moving on its own above the crowd of people, kind of in the distance a little bit. And as you train your eyes on this hat, you can see that the wearer walks into what you know to be a research conservatory and then out of your line of sight. Some time passes, and you see the soldiers walking, talking, and trying to get information. And you see eventually 4 soldiers and who you assume to be their commander heads downstairs into what you know to be the dormitory area or the sleeping quarters. And as you see them start to walk, you also feel a lurch unexpectedly as the ship releases its hold on the earth and starts to float from the port higher and higher into the air. As you, Valista, open the door and see this guard and turn invisible and leave your an image of yourself remaining, you see that as you look around the corner, you see there are 3 other guards and a commander. And Naomi, you see what your guard is seeing, which is this shape of this woman. And as you look down the hallway, you at least have the luck that there's only one way into this hallway, and it is the way that you came down. What do you do with the fact that your guard sees the person who you believe you're looking for?
As the guard is staring dumbfounded at the person who opened the door, basically gave themselves to us, I kind of cross my arms and wait for a second and realize that he's not doing anything, and I just kind of uncross a single arm and kind of wave at him like, "Get her, go."
Yes, ma'am. And he's going to reach out and try to grab the illusion ballista. What do you do as they reach out to grab this illusion?
Well, one, if possible, I would like to try to slink my way down the hallway.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
Anything special because I'm invis?
You can roll it at advantage. The hallways themselves are only about 10 feet wide, because most of the space, because it is a limited space because it's an airship, but it is 10 feet wide enough that people can walk back and forth, and they can push like suitcases and stuff and trays down there. But stealth check at advantage.
Alright, come on.
Okay. And go ahead and roll another perception check, Naomi, as you're like looking at your guard to see if anything. So 9. Okay. So you are paying attention to your guard, and Ballista, you kind of are like up against one of the side of the hallways, just kind of slinking very slowly down this hallway. Does your illusion do anything in particular?
I would, because I believe I can just, for the wording, correct me if I'm wrong, as I'm walking away, I can just have it, use my action to make it do stuff, correct?
Yeah,
As long as
it
I'm
looks like that.
concentrating on this.
Yeah.
However, it's only if I go into it and actually use it for the senses when I kind of shut down myself, right?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Okay. I will have my double essentially take a step back and say, what will I say? Something to the tune of essentially, don't lay your hands on me, as I take a step back.
As soon as she moves, I would like to do something.
Okay.
As soon as she moves, there's a thunderous kind of like commanding voice that fills the hallway and says, "Vlista, come out and face me!" And I will channel divinity, and use my champion's challenge.
Okay. Let me. Your illusory double. It doesn't say, but I don't think illusions are creatures. And is this just within a range of you? Every creature within 30 feet of you.
You issue a challenge that each creature of your choice that you see within 30 feet of you must make the saving throw. So if she's in the hallway, but I can see her illusion.
It's weird because illusions
and
are
I'm calling out to her.
Maybe.
Yeah, because so illusions aren't creatures, but you also can't
Maybe it's
see the
possible
creature.
more difficult or something.
So as you call out for Vallista to step out as you challenge her, she just kind of slinks further away into the room. Almost like the challenge that you're used to calling people out to make them step up to the plate doesn't seem to have an effect on the thing that you can see.
Do I recognize that do I recognize that the effect didn't take?
Roll an Arcana check.
Oh, I'm great at those. Hey!
You notice that the spell did not take effect, but you don't necessarily know why. You just know that you know what it looks like when someone falls under that effect. You know what it looks like when someone physically resists that effect, because they almost tense up and just kind of shake it off and just give you this look of no. But there seem to be no physical effects or anything affecting Ballista as you try to force them to come to you. So,
And you said this hall is 10 feet wide?
correct, yes. 10 feet wide, and it's about 90 feet or 100 feet from front to back with rooms, 10-foot rooms on each side, lining all the way to the end of the hall. So.
Cool. I pull my glaive off my back, and I extend it so one end is touching one side of the hallway and one end is touching the other at about waist level.
Okay.
And I look back at the guards behind me and I say, check all the rooms in the back, and then I look at the one in front of him and said, grab her, but I'm basically building a blockade in the hallway.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on, but I don't want her to run. But I also sense that something's up.
Okay. So as you're down there doing that, we'll move back upstairs, and Pax, after you had seen this hat kind of disappear, a hat that you recognize, the person wearing the hat seems to step back out into the hallway a few minutes later, probably 5 to 10 minutes later, after Samuel leaves. You recognize, might not know him as Samuel, but you recognize that this is a person who seems to do a lot of commanding with the conservatory, as they kind of are in and out a lot, pointing directions, telling people where to go. And you recognize this person wearing the hat. And you see from across the way, probably 70, 80 feet away from you now, just by the distance of this airship, you see Anthea kind of off in the distance with her big hat on, just kind of pushing her glasses up on her face, kind of looking around, trying to, get a...
How far away is she from me?
70, 80 feet. Not too far.
Okay. I would, if I'm on a break or have the opportunity to do so, wander close enough that I could send a message cantrip to her.
Yeah.
Like, hello, your hat is fabulous.
You can definitely reach her with a message cantrip.
Yay! Has this happened to her before, I'm wondering? Can I...
Yeah, go ahead. You can roll an Arcana or a Wisdom check, just to see if you have had this happen before. Yeah,
Okay.
you know that there is magical ways by which people can communicate mentally to each other. So.
Awesome. I'm not sure if Pax has communicated with her this way before, but she's able to speak back, right?
Correct. Yep.
Oh, hello. Where are you? And she starts to sort of look around. You can see the hat sort of bob. She's like peering through the crowds of people.
I'll do the slow wave, that you're doing like at an airport or whatever. It's like, hello, over here.
Oh, hello. And she'll move over closer so they can speak normally.
Yeah, as you start to walk closer to Pax and Pax walks closer to you, you kind of I like to imagine that you being a creation bard, you can animate with having the ability to animate objects, that the objects just kind of do their thing. Whether you're there actually doing it or not, they're just kind of still putting on their little show, and you're keeping people occupied, and you are able to just kind of go meet up with your friend.
Now I'll say, would you like some sparkling satirical tea, or perhaps some other beverage of I can't talk. Sophistication. Pardon me, I've been singing all day.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
What brings you on this vessel?
Well, research the usual. What about you? Are you also doing fungal research here?
No, I have interest indeed in all things with nature, especially those unseen, like fungus and the underground and the plants that go unanswered, unappreciated. No, I'm a diplomat and a musician. I seek allies for my kind and to spread music and to gain some knowledge, especially from like-minded gentlefolk. And I will nod.
Oh, wonderful. I think you'd you'd also enjoy the conservatory. There really is a lot of stuff in there.
Would you be able to show me a tour, perhaps? I have a break before my next performance.
Are you able to leave those? And she'll gesture towards um the things that you've animated for the show.
They will continue in the interlude. Um,
Wow, that's
we
amazing.
can call it a half-skull show.
Great. So, yeah, so she'll show him the conservatory as well, seeing as how he has similar interests.
Okay. Yeah, as you go into the conservatory, you see that there are half a dozen people working and just doing research in some sort of mycopid kind of things going on. They have different sets of. There's a whole wall where it basically looks like it's full of soil, and there's only maybe 6 inches at the top. But as you look, you see that there is like this um, green and blue, almost bioluminescent fungal network that seems to be growing underneath this dirt, and they're using it as a power source for the rest of their research. So it's like they're doing something magically where they're able to convert this bioluminescent permeating energy off of this built-in soiled fungal network, and they're using it to kind of try and expand their current spore knowledge and their spore hatcheries to kind of grow different mushrooms and different funguses. And then you see, as you kind of make your way further through the room and you look at what they're doing, you see that they have different petri dishes with what looks to be some blood or some cultures of other things, whether it be animal byproducts or other chemicals. You're not quite sure, but you see that they're taking the remnants of what they're getting from their fungal network infused mushroom research and applying it to these things and seeing if different things can happen. You see that there are some things that look like they're suffering from necrosis of some sorts. You see that there is some necrotic energies and tissues that seem to be almost regrowing new material. So like there's almost mushrooms growing from other dead mushrooms as a direct response to what is being applied from this research. So that's the kind of gist of what you're seeing in here. And you get that smell of decay and dirt and farming kind of in your nostrils. So
I will say utterly fascinating. What area of this study is your expertise? I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am Pax Ivor Dunsud, and I'll do a deep bow towards you.
Nice to meet you, Pax. I'm Anthea. Well, I sort of have an interest in restoring things that have been damaged, and I've found that fungal spores and different networks can sometimes help with that. So that's what I'm working on.
Wonderful. There's a noble pursuit. Restoring and preserving and promoting balance absolutely fits with my values and my mission also.
as you guys are talking about your fungal research in the conservatory, and as Naomi is setting up an impromptu glaive-based barrier where she's effectively got each end of her glaive pinched into a wall, and as she's walking down the hall, she is a very strong physical character in that she is just pushing this glaive and it's just dragging just markings through these walls. Like, these walls and these doors aren't going to keep Naomi in place. They are actively moving this barricade with them. And as you are moving this barricade closer and closer to the end of the hall where you were, and where you've kind of snuck to, you see that two of the guards have set up at the end of the hall where the entry door is. You have Naomi walking towards you, and another guard kind of walked into the room that you came out of where your double is, kind of confused as to why they can't do anything with their double, why they can't grab onto them, and why they're just not listening to their commander. And as you guys are doing this, I need all four of you to make me perception checks, please.
Ooh.
I rarely make characters that don't have proficiency in perception, and now I'm so happy that Naomi does not.
I'm a good boy.
Okay. And Thea, what'd you roll for perception? 7 to 10. 10. Okay.
Wow, we suck.
As you guys are talking about your research, and Naomi, you're focused on what you're doing, and Ballista, you're kind of like trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. You're not unaccustomed to running from the military, and you're not unaccustomed to getting out of otherwise unescapable positions. You've just never been in one where you're in the sky, and have no real way to get to the ground in this exact moment. And as you guys are focused on what you're doing, the ship seems to feel like there's some turbulence. It's like something's bumping into the ship. And as you are walking further and further down this hallway, Naomi, you see the window in the room where your soldier is just get exploded into, like, inwards into the ship. Glass goes everywhere. There is wind and rain, and everyone now starts to hear, as the turbulence gets real bad and the ship starts rocking back and forth quite aggressively, you hear thunder, and you hear a loud booming voice come over what seems to be the captain, and yells, "Everyone grab onto something. I don't know what's happening, but this is not normal." And the ship starts to tilt very strongly to one side, and then violently get whipped back the other. Those of you, everyone except Naomi, make a dexterity saving throw, because your glaive is in the walls in such a way, and you're holding on it with such hyper focus, that you're basically secured to the ground. Nice. Okay, so as you are focused on where you're going, Pax and Anthea, you just grab on to Pax. You grab onto the table that's right in front of you, and Anthea, you instinctively run up to the fungal network farm, and you grab onto it, and you're holding it into place, and holding and like planting both of your feet and holding this thing up as it's starting to tilt towards you. And you saw for a quick second in your mind years and years and years of research just wasted if this thing hits the ground, and you immediately just duck, bolt, and just hold this thing up with all of your strength and dexterity. You plant yourself, and as the ship rewrites itself, the this embedded fungal network is safe and secure, and is not looking like it's going to fall to the ground. But Ballista, you get thrown across the hallway, smashing into the left side of the knees of Naomi. And Naomi, you feel this weight just kind of almost knock you over, but it's just, you look down and there's nothing there. It's just this
is nothing
weight
there, or does that drop because she took damage?
Just roll a straight concentration check. If it's more than 10, you pass.
Okay, and that is a
con save. Yeah.
Alright.
So as you look down, there's nothing there. You don't know if maybe the quick shifting of the airship just threw something into your leg. You're pretty well armored, so things bouncing into you is whatever. It's not the end of the world for you. Like, well, there's no dent in my armor, so cool, great. But as you, as this is happening, the ship starts to rock a little bit more. You see that for the next couple minutes, you're hearing more and more thunder. It's getting louder and louder. And then an almost overbearing, encroaching calm, like you're in the middle of the eye of a storm, just kind of starts. And Pax and Anthea, you notice in the midst of all of this calm, all of the hairs on your body start to stand on edge. The hair on your head, if you have any facial hair or hair, just starts to rise. Almost like there's an electricity in the air, and you can feel it getting stronger and stronger. And then a giant explosion as electricity, purple and black electricity, seems to rip through the airship as these purple, black, and metallic just shapes and talons rip through the ship. And all of a sudden, this dragonoid creature, you're not quite sure what it is, you've not seen one before, just emanating purple lightning bolts just coming off of this as this dragon just flies through the middle of this airship, and you hear roars and you recognize them as a language, but you don't understand what they are saying. Those of you who have any training in any languages would know that dragons typically have their own language, and they seem to be speaking in this language. You hear this guttural sound that just almost vibrates you to your core. It vibrates you so deep that the hairs on the inner ears of all of you start to just point up and almost feel like they're catching lightning themselves, and almost like the hairs themselves are on fire and taking damage. And as you kind of very quickly try to get your bearings, a giant taloned leg grabs onto the engine of this ship, this right here, the primary engine of this ship, and rips it off of the airship. And you begin to feel yourselves and the ship breaking apart, falling quickly further and further down. And as you look out, you see that you're above the clouds. You start to fall and fall. And we're going to go ahead and take a break.
Does anyone have feather fall? I'll yell.
We're gonna,
Oh no!
And we're going to take a break for a couple minutes right here. Okay. As you guys feel and see this lightning dragon-looking creature just destroy your airship, you hear it growl something in a language that you don't understand. But as you begin to fall and the ship separates into two major pieces and then multiple other pieces, you see that the captain whose voice is booming, he starts casting a spell over towards a side of the ship and blows up additional parts of the ship. And when he does that, you see like these backpacks explode from the thing that he blew up, and there is hundreds of them. And you see that the other magicians on the ship are casting things that are bringing these backpacks to them. People are using magic and other tools they have at their hands, whether they're grappling hooks or just trying to like air swim over to them to grab these backpack type things. And the captain is yelling at people to put them on, strap them in, and pull the button or pull the cord. And you see that as they grab these backpacks and put them on and start pulling these cords, you see that this fabric just explodes out of the top of it, and it seems to be attached to the backpack by these like magical strands. It's like enchanted rope with some sort of enchanted net on top of it, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, people go from falling at very, very quick speeds to their death to slowly beginning to fall to the ground wearing these parachutes. And you guys can all, if you wish to make dexterity saving throws, can try and grab them on your first time, because they are kind of floating towards you too, or you can use any other means by which you have at your disposal to try to grab these things. So.
Too busy grabbing onto my possessions to really grab onto anything else. Don't drop anything. Okay.
So hold up. Are we all currently falling through the sky?
Yes.
Okay. Like outside of the ship?
Yes.
Okay.
What were you saying, May?
I would like to use my hat.
Okay.
So Anthea's gonna pull her hat off and kind of like hold it above her head, and she's going to.
I forgot your hat had this ability.
Yeah. She's kind of like she'll say like an incantation, and it seems to like slow her descent. And I also get to pick 5 people within 60 me.
Go ahead and
So,
make a
can I-
perception check to see if you see them all.
Okay. Perfect.
14. Yep. So you see Pax, and then you make a Constitution saving throw for me at disadvantage, Ballista, to see at this point now, since you've exploded off the ship, if you're falling, if you maintain the fact that you're invisible.
Alright.
You do not. It's a higher DC because it exploded. So you become invisible, or become visible. Your duplicate's still there. It's fading. But Naomi, you see this, and Thea, you see this person just appear out of nowhere, and the commander of the small military unit, and then Pax, and you can also, because I want it to be saved, you see the fungal display that you saved from being destroyed the first time falling down towards you as
Yay.
well, and you can also cast it on that. So,
Yay, I see that.
okay, so the three of you all of a sudden feel your speedy momentum towards the ground slow, and it's almost like you're slowly floating to the ground. Naomi and Ballista, you guys can now see each other clear as day as you're falling.
Can I try to
through the
grab her?
ground. Sure, you could try.
Yeah, how far are we from each other? Because I just went from falling at Mach speed, invisible, to all of a sudden poofing back out.
But you were at my feet.
You were. I'm gonna roll a D100 and it's a D20 and it's this many feet away. How about that? You're exactly 10 feet away from Naomi.
Oh my god, I want to grab her with my glaive.
Okay, you try to hook Ballista with your glaive.
Yep.
Go ahead and make, as I say, you can make a grapple check against whatever it is that you want to do, Ballista.
Well, I'm about to, if it's allowed, if like as a reaction to suddenly poofing out and seeing this,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the stare down happening, so I'm no longer falling. I'm floating.
You guys are now floating because of the effects of slow fall.
Okay.
Bodhi!
Well
Magic
then,
hat.
I'm going to slowly float into the Feywild as I use Misty Step.
Oh, so you Misty Step 60 feet. Which direction? Above? Directionally away? Down?
Let's be tricksy. I go up.
Okay. So you're still floating slowly, but you teleport 60 feet above you. And so now you're just looking down as you're slowly falling. But you can see everyone 60 feet below you. And as you guys fall slowly and slowly for what seems like a very long time, at this point I like to imagine that Anthea and Pax are just having a conversation as you're slowly just falling down, holding on to this fungal network that's falling with you.
Fancy meeting you here?
There you go. You do see Naomi, your soldiers, and other members of this airship who have managed to activate these parachutes. They seem to be floating, but away. Like the wind has caught their parachutes, and they're kind of being shifted further and further away from you guys as you guys are falling directly down. They're being shifted away, but they look like they're probably going to survive the fall. You don't know. But as you guys take some time and slowly Mary Poppins your way to the ground, you guys eventually find yourself. Let me show you guys your tokens because you need them. You guys eventually find yourself, for those of you who have dark vision, not everyone has dark vision, you're falling down into this dark, thick wood. And everything's probably black for you because you don't have dark vision. Do you have any way to make light?
I have dancing lights.
Okay. If you want to cast dancing lights, I will put light around you if you would like.
Perfect. I would like to do that, please.
And that's what?
I'm just casting it to mark that I'm using my Fade Touched spell.
Okay, cool. How much is dancing lights? What's that do?
It is 10-foot radius, dim light.
10-foot radius? You can spread them out, I think, and make 30
4
feet.
light.
Yeah, I think you
Oh,
can
okay,
spread them.
let's
So,
do that. So I
Pax.
can make 4 of them, and can I spread them out?
Yeah, we'll just say it emanates from
Wonderful.
you. Yeah, Pax, do you have dark vision?
No, but I'm trying to cast light, and it's just
Okay.
giving me a save
Oh,
DC for
that's
the spell
weird.
which makes sense.
Yeah,
But yes,
you-
I cast light.
Cool. So you have 20 bright, 20 dim. Okay. So.
And I'll
you-
cast it on my bagpipes so I can kind of like close the cover on it if I need to
Okay.
dim the light.
Okay. So you guys eventually land, because you've cast slow. Go ahead and make deck saves for me to see if you get caught in the trees as you make your way to the ground, because this is a very thick forest.
All of us?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
it's
funny.
it's a 15 save. So those of you who did not get 15, you get what's funnily enough, Ballista and Naomi are still trying to fight midair, where Naomi's trying to attack Ballista, and you guys get caught in the trees. And Pax and Thea, you just slowly have this conversation as you just float to the ground, making some light
I'll put
appear.
myself in a tree.
Yeah, you
Have you
guys.
explored the fungal properties as they pertain to aerodynamics? If not, this would be an opportune moment to do so.
Ooh. She'll like take she'll take like a little book out of her hat, but then realize she only has one hand because she's holding on to hat. She's like, oh, I'll have to write that down in a second. And then once they float down, she'll like start writing down observation.
So you guys land safely, and you hear, because you've seen the 2 people that were floating with you, you see that they both get caught in trees. Ballista and Naomi, what do you guys do being caught in trees?
I think Naomi would just try to quickly climb down and get over to Ballista before she can move.
Okay. So, Ballista, you see, and you two as well, see Naomi quickly clamber down this tree and start taking off running towards Ballista. Ballista, what you do is you see this commanding woman come charging at you.
Well, I have the high ground, Anakin. I'm going to use. I'm using everything. I'm going to use my legacy of Stygia, something like that, to cast darkness upon myself.
Okay. So basically, everything around. Oh, you don't have a 1,200 foot distance. I'm losing my damn mind. I think there's.
I do the thingy?
Yeah, there's a way. I'm trying to remember how to change it so you have 120 feet of dark. Oh, it's this way. Duh. I'm losing my mind.
Can I use the special thing you gave me?
I
The tokens sheet spells?
Oh, yeah, go for it. That works. That works even better. I
Yep.
don't have to put this around you. Cool. There you go. So darkness is cast in that range. So Naomi, as you run in, it just goes completely black. Blacker than this forest already was, because you could see in shades of gray, and now you see nothing. But you can feel around with your glaive to try and find trees. Try and find the tree so you don't run into them. As you guys are doing this and it gets super dark, you guys see that the light that you had over here, both of you just kind of, it does not permeate that. It just kind of like hits this black border, and there's almost like this cloud that light does not seem to penetrate. But I need Pax and Anthea and Ballista to roll. Actually, you can all just roll perception checks normally. There's no disadvantage because you could still hear stuff being in the dark.
I'll do a few minor chords on my bagpipe to signify mood change because it's so dark.
My
Dun,
perception,
dun.
my roll low is I'm focused on surviving.
That's fair. Okay. So, Thea, you're the only one that really notices. You got 2 people who, for some reason, are angry at each other, and Pax is still kind of telling you about the properties of fungus and flying, the aerodynamics of fungus. And as you're like trying to write this down and thinking about it, something kind of catches your ear, and it kind of your ears perk up a little bit. and you start to hear growling and almost this weird, deep, heavy, just creaking. Just.
I think we have company. Did you hear that? She'll turn to Pax.
Yes, that seemed ominous. That wasn't me, I swear.
Pax, you
Uh,
notice and you hear what sounds like roots being torn out of the grounds over
Did
this
you see
way.
roots being torn out of the ground?
Roots being torn out of the
I
ground.
will comment on that to Anthea and step a bit closer to her if I can.
Okay. The two of you
And I will
in
touch her shoulder and give her bardic inspiration and say,
Ooh.
whatever comes, let's face it together.
The two of you in the darkness, are you focusing on fighting each other, or are you paying attention to what's going on around you?
I think, personally, me, Valista, considering I can see out of this darkness, I am focusing on the fastest way out of here.
Okay.
Just searching the area, looking for the closest, best way out.
And Naomi, what about you?
Let's see. Naomi wants to use a spell.
Okay.
oh boy.
What's
Hey,
your spell?
remember the spell you hate, Pi? Welcome to another character who has it. Throw up daylight. Bam.
It gets rid of the darkness because it's a higher level spell. And just this big 60. Oh, I don't think I gave you a token for daylight. I don't think I did. Damn. I did not. But hold on. I will make you one real fast. It's 60 foot, right?
Yeah. So, basically right over Naomi, 60 feet in the air, 60-foot huge radius of light, and an additional 60 feet of dim light.
Okay. Where's the one I want?
Well, hold on. Hold on. Do I see this happen? Would I see any casting going off?
You said you were actively looking for ways out, so
Yeah.
not paying attention to Naomi particularly. So
Okay.
I would say no, just because of you saying that you were
Alright.
looking for the way out. So
Fair
hold
enough.
on, I'm gonna add this into your thing here. 1 second, Naomi. Oops. There we go. And it's gonna be there and that. All right, you now have a daylight token in your journal, so you can pretty much put
Jesus.
daylight wherever
So
you want it to
bright.
be. Yeah. All of
Bam.
that now is just filled with
So
daylight.
that's 60, so that's bright, and then there's also 60-foot dim light as well.
I can do this. You ready for
Just so you know.
something? Hold on. I can, because I am a smart boy and I can do this. This might just work. Hold on.
Please don't be a dragon.
There you go. That's the light that it emits is right there, and then the dim light outside of that. You should be able to see that far. So if you look at your token, everything you can see, you can see. As you throw up daylight and just
Can you move that behind the tokens? Not to be super particular, but it gives us the ability to
bam,
move our tokens.
there you go.
So if you move it behind everybody, it's like bam, right
That
there.
should be good now,
Because
right?
you can't move daylight once it's planted.
Can you move your tokens around now? I think it's behind.
I can move mine. Okay,
Oh yeah,
cool.
there you go. Cool.
Everybody just looks faded
Yep.
for me from a recording standpoint.
Oh, they're all still there. Maybe I can.
We're bathed in ethereal light of
You are.
justice.
Golden hue, and it just lasts for an hour. Jesus. Okay. So as you guys, as Naomi, you just eviscerate this darkness with this holy explosion of daylight. Pax, you see where these roots were getting ripped up. You look over and you see a giant tree start to come this way. And then you, Valista, as you're looking for a way out, you and Anthea both see another giant tree on your way out. And I need everybody to roll me initiative. First combat of the campaign.
Yay.
Yes.
First combat of the campaign. Also, first player versus player of the campaign.
We're being efficient. Let's not have first party death on session 1, please. You never know.
Let's just do
Please, somebody
everything.
die.
Session 1.
I mean, let's just roll up new characters right now. We'll just put them on the back burner because this is gonna be the end of us all. It's great. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Both my trees are there. Cool. All right. Wow, Pax has a really
Yay.
good initiative.
Ooh,
20.
fast.
3, 4. Both your trees are there. Okay.
I'm gonna put a little red dot on you, Anthea. One, you have concentration on dancing light. Not that it really matters at this point,
Mhm.
because it'll go away. But you also have that blue is your inspiration, because you have bardic inspiration
Ooh,
from before.
perfect.
So, what do you want to do, Pax?
Ooh, let's see here. Let's see.
I know
here.
there's so much you can do.
There's so
Is it
many
obvious the
people.
trees are hostile? I mean, they're stomping towards us, but is
Yes. Yes.
okay. We
They
sense
seem-
ominousness.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Roll me a perception check real quick.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Elvish, and Sylvan.
You hear a combination of all 3 of those languages kind of emanating from this tree up here. And they're kind of saying, they say to you, invaders in the forest must be destroyed. You come, you kill, you pillage. There will be no forgiveness. We will protect, we will destroy. And it's pulling its roots out of the ground, and you see that they're kind of turning into what you believe to be its feet.
God. Okay. I will yell back at them. Gentle lords of the forest, we fell by accident. We seek only to escape. We will not harm you. Please spare us. And may I persuasion check to try and convince them that, we're not trying to axe them or anything?
Yeah, you can certainly try.
Let's see if that works.
Jesus.
Holy crap!
Um,
I rolled above a 30 before. That's fun.
just to see. Jesus. So the tree kind of looks at you, and it's not that it doesn't believe you, it's that it seems like the focus is on protecting its home and destroying things that shouldn't be there. So it won't. I'm not gonna make you take your action to try and persuade that through him, but it doesn't look like you'll be able to talk him out of trying to protect his home. So
If my horns could sag slightly in dejection, I would do that and shake my head slowly to Anthea. They are still. This is 5-foot squares, I assume.
yeah.
Measuring 40 feet. 35 feet. What do I have that goes far enough? I don't have much stuff that goes very far. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Let's do a glyph of warding. And so as I'm finishing my speech, I say, we wish you no harm, but we will protect ourselves, if only so we can escape. And how big is glyph of warding? It's just a little thing, right? Basically a square that I'll mark, kind of idea.
I'd have to look and see what it says on there. So, is it... How long does it take to cast Glyph of Warding?
Oh, casting time 1 hour. Never mind. I know how magic works. Read spells, Michael.
That's like a good protective one. Like if you're going to be a place for a while, you set up that glyph and you can determine what you want the thing that pops it off to be.
Okay. Well, then instead of Glyph of Warding, kind of standing near friends, I will take the hold action to cast Thunder Wave if someone gets close enough, like once they're within 15 feet of me to do so.
Okay.
I'm not going to run out and do it, but I'm going to be ready with Thunder Wave
Sounds
since
good.
they're not being peaceable.
Okay. Anthea.
Okay. Can I try speak with plants? And I want to create like so I'll put it in here so we can read it.
Mhm.
You can turn difficult terrain, or you can turn ordinary terrain where plants are present into difficult terrain that lasts for the duration. Can I create like some roots kind of around us to like create difficult terrain around us to try and slow them in the directions that they're coming?
Yeah, and you just want it to be, it's just 30 feet around you in a cube? Is that how that goes? Within 30 feet of you, limited time
Yeah,
destination.
30 feet.
We'll say it's a 30-foot cube.
Either cube or a sphere. Or
So if you want to just take, I think your create destroy water level one is 30 feet by 30 feet, so you can just use that as the token.
Perfect.
And then you can put that wherever you want, and then I will put it to the back of wherever. You want it
I
there?
need to line it up properly. There?
You can put
Maybe?
it, yeah,
No?
okay. If that's where you
It's
want it,
not on the center, but I will just make it centered on me. There we go.
Okay, cool. All right, it is now
Coming from
to the back. All right. Okay. Cool. Anything else you would like to do on your turn?
I'm going to drop dancing lights since it's so bright now.
Okay.
That's
I will.
probably
I will
it.
just do this. So you're just not going to emit light anymore, but you should still see
Yeah.
the bright light. Yeah. Cool.
So I don't have to concentrate.
Yep. And you still have your inspiration. So there you go. Cool.
Yay.
All right. And there you go, Ballista.
I've been muted this entire time, but Alex got disconnected, so it's
Oh
fine.
no.
Oh no.
There we go. I think I can hear you now. Maybe.
Oh.
There you go.
We
You
can hear you.
didn't miss me. You didn't miss anything I said. Don't worry about it. I wasn't muted.
Cool. All I did was move it from one USB to the other USB port, and that seems to be the simple fix every time it decides to disconnect. So I'm like, yeah, I figured it out. But anyway, it is your turn. What do you want to do?
Yeah, and I'm in an interesting situation.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Oh boy. Now I gotta see what spells I have.
Welcome to level 9, folks, where you have a lot of options of stuff to do. And 3 of you are
Yeah.
spellcasters.
So many things.
I know, right?
Alright. Okay. I am going to look down at Naomi, this person who's chasing me. I don't even know your name. You're just another person chasing me. And I am going to use the power that my patron has bestowed upon me. I'm going to look down at her, and I'm going to start having frost kind of emanate from me even more, and I'm going to use my Fey Presence.
Okay. To make a wisdom saving throw against you? Okay. Naomi,
An attempt.
wisdom saving throw, please.
10-foot, a 10-foot cube originating from you. How high is she in the tree?
How high did I say you were in the tree? I don't think I actually did say how high you were in the tree. Roll a d.
I mean, if you want, I could say I.
Yeah, and you can just move some of the way down. Yeah, you can climb
Yeah.
halfway down the tree and do it. There you go. That solves the problem.
Okay, cool. And that was wisdom save?
Yes, or you will be charmed. Or
Or
frightened.
frightened.
I am focused.
Okay, that was your action. Anything you want to do for a bonus action?
I mark that off as used. What can I do as a bonus action? I don't think I have anything as a bonus action.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I do. Not that this would matter on what I just used, but I'm going to once again, from my hand, kind of unleash some sort of frosty power, I'm directing all of this at Naomi. And I'm going to hex you.
Oh snap!
Okay.
You
And
are
I'm going
hexed.
to give you disadvantage on all of your charisma checks.
Okay.
The screen thing is hexed for you.
No damage doesn't happen.
Cool. All right. Naomi.
Well, if no one's I really doubt that she would have noticed the trees at this point, and if the two people behind her aren't pointing anything out, she's gonna look up at Ballista, and then she's gonna point at this spot right in front of her, and she's gonna say, "Come," and I'm gonna cast
You would
command.
have heard Pack yell at the trees as well, so it's not a secret that they're there because I was making a big loud speech about them.
Oh yeah, that's
If you
true.
would like to know that they are there.
But you were commanded, so go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw of 15.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
This is a spell,
It is a spell effect, yes.
counter spell.
Okay. Your first level command was counterspell to 5th level. So it fails. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Um,
You see
Okay.
you see this like frosty like chain of like magic wrap around you, and you point at your target and say come, and as they kind of look like they might for a second, they just throw up this wall of ice, and it just bats away and kind of dishevels and breaks apart your magical commanding words.
Okay. She kind of gets a look of like, really, and she'll reach over and she gently puts her hand on the symbol of the crown, which she follows, and she kind of hums a very small tune to herself. And I'm gonna use harness divine power, and I'm gonna get back my get back one of my spell slots.
Sounds good. Cool. All right. So this first tree is, let's see how far they can move. Okay, so they can move this many feet. So they can move to like right here. So this tree is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And since, Pax, since you yelled at this tree and it tried talking to you, it's going to...
My thunder wave go off since it's
It
now
does.
within 15 feet of me?
It does, you are right. Do that. Give me that thunder wave.
Okay. Let's see here. So it's Dex save.
Oof. That's
Get
gonna
my
be bad
spell
for them.
save DC.
It
Hooray.
is a 12. So I think it fails.
That's a fail.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do it. Since these are big and I would like to push them back, we'll do it at 4th level.
Okay.
Let's see if that does it. Yes,
16 damage.
that's
and-
pretty low for. Oh well.
And what type of damage is that? Thunder?
Thunder damage and they're pushback some amount of feet.
That's what, 10 feet, I think?
Yes, I'm just seeing if it matters how big the creature is. I don't think so. It doesn't say so.
No, I think they just
Each
get pushed.
creature.
10. Cool.
Yeah, push
So it-
10 feet.
So it goes back 10 feet. It was within reach of you, and now it's not. And you just blasted it with this like thunderous force of just. I like to imagine you just rocked your bagpipes and just blasted it back 10 feet.
Yes, I think thunder wave has got to be bagpipes for sure.
So it's gonna throw a rock at you. As it like falls back, you see it reaches down with both of its hands to like catch itself, and as it's like catching to pull itself back up, dragging its rooted hands, it pulls a rock out of the ground, and it's just gonna throw a rock directly at you. How did that know? A 22 for 29 bludgeoning damage.
That absolutely hits
T-Rex.
29.
Okay. Well, I can't go with it. That was his turn. This tree, seeing fighting going on around its brethren trees, is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20. This is rough terrain, so that makes it 30 feet. What's its perception? How? It's kind of wise. We'll go, if it's above, if it's 11 or above, it sees Naomi. If it's below that, it sees Ballista. Sees Ballista. So it's gonna throw a rock at you, Ballista, as well.
That's fun.
A 13 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, you don't get hit for 23 bludgeoning damage by a tree. But it now seems to kind of, and there you see that while it does have roots for feet, these roots that are latching onto it seem to be a little bit more rocky, and they're almost like they're jagged wires just wrapping around this tree's legs, making it a lot slower than what it was. Pax.
All right.
An interesting choice of fight music.
Hey, it's steampunk fight music. It's just on.
It's
Yeah.
great. This is tree fight music. This is perfect.
It is totally awesome. Does it look like there's any path to escape? Would Pax notice that, like does it? If we just run south, is there probably going to be more tree?
Based on what you can see right now, it looks like there could be some paths, but you can't see far enough to see if any of them actually are escapable or not.
Got it. Okay, but I don't necessarily see other trees in that direction either.
Correct. You see like what is like the regular forest trees, but nothing that is animated and moving in ways that these
Got it.
guys are. Yeah.
Okie doke. In that case, let's see here. Because plan A was kind of trying to escape. That doesn't seem to be a terribly possible option. They don't have any metal on them, I'm assuming.
No, they are trees.
They are very tree. Thunderwave is probably best option. Because I already have given inspiration to someone. Yeah, I am going to
You can give out more than one
step
inspiration.
over here.
You just can't do it per. You can give out an inspiration every round. You just can't do more than one in one round.
I guess Pax wouldn't be sure, since these two are fighting each other,
That's
like,
true. That they're good people. Yeah.
or you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
not knowing what the conflict is, not wanting to empower one over the other.
That
Question
is
mark.
fair.
They're probably both
That
good
is
people, but
fair.
just different kinds of good.
That's fair.
He's assuming
That's
the
fair.
best. Don't know. We can try and Thunderwave this boy to
Okay.
push him away.
Do it. It's a deck
So
save.
let's do
of
a
something.
third level. Yes.
It fails with a 1.
Hooray.
It's gonna take 21 damage, and then get pushed
And
10
it's
feet
push
away.
back 10.
So you get pushed 10 feet away. All right. Anything else in your turn?
I'll just say to Anthea, oh, this is strange, but I think we'll pull through.
Anthea.
Okay. Wow, these trees are very not friendly. Sorry. Things moved, so my plan changed. I guess I could. Can I? So this sort of difficult terrain that I've created, can I have it be sort of a ring around us, so that we're not really?
I'll just say that you and creatures
Or
that
is it a
you
full box?
choose do not have.
Okay.
You're not succumb to the difficult terrain part of it. It is for other things, but not those that you choose. I don't think that's how the spell is, but I don't see why you wouldn't be allowed to decide that it's not difficult terrain for yourself and your party. So.
Okay. Perfect. So I want to move myself a little closer to this guy so that I'm within 10 feet, and then I'm just going to Earth Tremor.
All right.
Let's do. Okay. Sorry, just finding the things.
16
should've worked.
dexterity save for. So is this a cantrip?
No, this is a first level spell.
Oh, it only does 1d6.
That's what it says. Yep.
Is that all it does? It doesn't do anything
If
else?
it is.
It'll do
oh,
more
if
at higher
it is
level.
knocked prone. Sorry. Here, let me put that in
Oh,
there. So I
okay.
can
And it
properly
should-
read it.
It should just, like, most cantrips just have higher base damage at higher levels, so it should do more.
Let's
That's
see.
great.
On a failed save, it takes
So,
1d6
it's
bludgeoning.
knocked
Oh,
prone.
and it's knocked prone. That's the other portion of it. Okay. Okay. You see that the bludgeoning damage that you did not seem to be as effective as you'd want it to be, but it is prone now. You knocked this big tree over.
Awesome. The poor tree. I feel a little bad about it. Okay, and I don't know if I really have anything else that's going to do much.
Okay.
here.
All right.
So I think that's it. I'll just hang
Okay.
out there and stay where I am.
All right. Ballista.
When I was up in the tree, did I see any specific area that might look like the fastest way out?
You were looking, and you had a giant rock thrown at you, so you didn't see anything off the top of your head because you were avoiding getting hit with a boulder.
Fair play.
Yeah. So you see, like, the forest is very thick, and you see there seem to be multiple paths, but you can't see where they go. So.
Okay. Would you say I'm at like the mid-level point of the tree?
Yeah, you're like 15 feet up the tree.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna leap off the tree.
Okay.
Just gonna jump backwards.
Go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw as you
Alright.
fall on the ground.
Is she leaving my range?
What's your range?
10 feet.
So they were 15 feet up, and so I think that's just
The
outside
skill
your
she used had to be 10 feet, though.
Was it 10 feet? Does it hit everything within 10 feet, or? Yeah, you were 10 feet. Yeah, so she is leaving your range. You can try and keep her.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going to try to hit her with the glaive.
Go for it. See if that works. Because if you, yeah, you get
Natural
hit.
20.
Oh god.
So you're here, and you get 18 damage, and you're stuck.
And you don't move because I have Sentinel.
So you're on the ground now, with Naomi.
Hi.
Joke's on you. Joke's on you. As I use Misty Escape.
Oh snap! When you take damage, to turn invisible and teleport up to 60 feet away, but you can't move. Now.
Boom!
You can teleport, but you can't move anywhere. So once you get there, you're gone.
Let's see.
You have every escape maneuver that you can get. Jesus.
Okay, I'm gonna be right here and be invisible.
Yep. So as you smack, as Ballista tries to jump out the tree, and you basically hook her with your glaive and slam her into the ground in front of you. She looks up at you, and you just see this like wink and turns into smoke, and she's gone. You have no idea where she went. Just gone.
Flourish.
Naomi, it is your turn now. And you see these two big trees, and someone who had just disappeared.
As much as I would want to chase her down, I think as my attention gets pulled because she's freaking gone again, I think instead of trying to chase her down at this point, I think I would turn my attention to the trees. So this one is the closest?
Yes, and it is prone.
Oh, perfect. I am going to slide along the square because I don't know if I'm considered a friendly or not at this point. And I say, don't worry, I'll help. 5, 10, 15. No, don't move the light. Stay there. 15, 20, and kind of just like skirting the edge of the stuff. And then I will take my 2 attacks at the prone guy with my glaive.
They're at advantage. Because he's prone. Oh, yeah, that hits.
Your help was
25,
much appreciated, strange woman.
22 for 19.
19 damage. Okay.
Glad I could help. Stay safe and stay back.
Cool. All right. Anything else on your turn? Okay.
Yeah, actually, oh gosh, how do I register this? I didn't make this attack, so I will build it. Oh no, here it is. Bonus action, polearm master, smack him with the back of the glaive.
Do it. That's also at advantage.
Yeah.
24 hits for 5 more.
Which is max damage, no, it's not max damage, almost.
It's close.
Yeah, so I slice, and then I spin it over my head, and then I bring it down, just smack it
Oh, no.
real hard
Whoops.
with the
Wrong
back of the glaive.
It definitely did not have. I took its HP to the wrong number. Whoops. It was
Good idea.
I am doing the math in my head real quick because I accidentally typed in the wrong number here. There we go. Now we're back to where it should be.
37 out of 66.
Right. So this tree over here is just gonna try and get closer. 5, 10, 15, 25. Ugh, it's too far. It's too far away. It's going to. It's just gonna throw a rock in the middle and it hopes it hits somebody. So I'm gonna roll a d6. 1, 2 is Pax, 3, 4 is Anthea, and 5, 6 is Naomi, who the target will end up being. All right, Anthea, this thing's just gonna throw a rock at you. 23 for 28 bludgeoning.
Lucky, can I interpose and use my lucky feat to add a different d20?
Yeah, you can. All right, so it has what, a plus 10? Okay. Here's a d20. 17.
Yay! Oh.
Is a 17 hit, Anthea?
Yeah, it does.
All right, so you
Pax
take
was momentarily very excited and like,
you take 28 bludgeoning damage,
Okay.
and then I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. No, wait, that's not concentration for
Nothing's
the thing. Yeah, so you're good then. You just take 28 bludgeoning damage from this rock.
Ooh. Ow.
All right, that's its turn. The other tree is down, so it's gonna stand up. And let's see. So it's going to step up to the thing that just, the woman that just like messed with it. Right here, Naomi. It's gonna take 2 slam attacks at you. 1, 2. That's an 18 and 19.
Miss hit.
Okay, so you take 15 bludgeoning damage as this tree is just like whipping its big rooted arms at you. And that's its turn. Pax.
do. Some healing is in order. Looks like it would be obvious that Anthea is hurt more than me, correct?
Yes, because she took a big boulder to the face.
Yeah. Okay. I will say. That's a spell. No big deal. So this one is no longer prone. It is stood up. Okay.
Correct.
I will healing word Anthea and say, stay away from it. Let the angry lady with the long thing do it. Let's roll 3d4 plus 4. That's 11
Okay.
healing. That was level 3 spell. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Perp. And then for action,
Yep, for your action.
I will just throw a dagger. I will step over towards Naomi, but stay in the difficult terrain.
Okay.
And throw a dagger at this one. Hiya!
All right.
So total of 11.
18 to hit for 5. Yeah. 11. And 5 does hit. Okay.
And that's me.
Thea.
Perfect. Sorry, just let me add this. Oh, you can actually type it in here. Okay. I'm so used to our Saturday campaign where it automatically does it. Okay. So this one over here is the one that threw the rock, right?
Correct. This one is, yeah.
Very rude. Can I light it, please?
You absolutely can. A Constitution saving throw. Is that at disadvantage because it's a plant?
Then, yes, it is, and it takes max damage. So it will take the full 8, right?
So it will take half of the full, so 80, so 64. So it still takes 32 necrotic damage.
Yay!
Okay.
So I like to imagine she like puts her hand on the roots below it and sort of like steals its life force through the roots.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be my turn.
All right. Ballista. What do you want to do?
I'm on the ground, right? Like
yeah,
actually like
yeah.
back on the
Basically, you
ground.
were knocked prone. Well, so you went to like jump out the tree, but I like to imagine that Naomi grabbed you and like slammed you in front of her and sentineled you, so you couldn't go anywhere. So effectively, you teleported prone, so you could get up. Yeah.
Okay. And my invisibility is gone because I remain invisible until the start of my next turn.
Yep.
So I shake my head a little bit. I stand up, and despite your warning, sir, I will shake and dust myself off, and I'm putting my hood over my head, and I am making a snap judgment. Which one of these directions looks like the better path out?
That one. That one right there.
I'm gonna choose to trust you,
Okay.
which is usually a mistake.
Are you running and dashing, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm being hunted, man.
Okay.
I'm outie.
What's your total?
Howdy,
What's your
9000.
What's your total movement with your action and half of movement?
Stand up. I'm at 15.
Mm-hmm. So you have 45 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So you run this way, and you disappear for a second, and then 15, 20, 30, 40, you end up back over here. You run, and it drags you right back. Naomi.
How badly hurt does this one look?
It's looking like you've. It had 4 arms, now it has 2. You've done some significant damage to it.
Okay, good to know. I'm gonna look over at the 2 people that are within the safety of the vines, but understand that this guy still has a little bit of reach, and I spin my glaive, and I take a swipe at it, and I am also going to use my 3 use per day. I'm gonna expend one of the charges
Okay.
to hit it for a 20,
Oh, that'll hit.
and then I'm gonna do the shove action with it.
Okay, so it just gets pushed back 15 feet. Is that right?
Yep.
No, 10 feet. That's right.
Yep, 10 feet back.
Right there.
And then I'm gonna close the gap and go right there
Okay.
to keep it focused on me.
Okay.
And then second attack is a
Oh.
25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. All right.
And then the polearm master attack as well.
Okay. That will
Oh,
miss.
that's the wrong thing.
Oh, that was the
Is it?
opportunity. It's 1d20
Yeah.
plus 6. You just rolled a 3. So,
Did I?
yeah, you just rolled real bad.
It's weird. It normally rolls the damage with it, so that's why I was
Oh.
confused.
Yeah, I don't know, but it misses.
That's totally fine. Okay.
It's not knocked prone, right? It's just pushed back. No, it's not. Cool. All right, so this animated tree is going to try and, well, it sees that you're beaten up on its other tree, so it's going to throw a rock over your way, Naomi, and try and get you to leave its brethren. 24
That hits.
for 36 bludgeoning damage.
Jesus.
Yeah, it rolled a 10 in there, a 10, a 9, an 8, and a 3. So, and that's its turn. And this one who's in front of you is going to just do what it's been trying to do. You're trying to kill it, it's going to try and kill you. So 2 slam attacks.
Yeah, I'm down.
You had how much? 18? So
I had 11
you
left.
had 11. So the first one knocks you down. The second one hits, which means it's 2 death saving fails because it's a crit if you're unconscious. So you have 2 fails.
And I'm no longer hexed. Fun fact.
You are no longer
'cause
hexed,
I'm down.
but you are unconscious. Do you get HP back from unconscious things as hex, or is that just Hexblade's curse?
That might just be a Hexblade.
Okay. Pax, you see Naomi get hit with a boulder, and then this tree just drops the hammer on her and hits her with 2 fists, knocking her unconscious and to the ground, and she's bleeding profusely.
I will say, oh dear.
Yeah, you have 13 hit points and you are no longer unconscious.
Call Angry One. We need you.
All right.
I am Pax, by the way, and this is kind of scary. And then I'll try to throw. Actually, I only have one more dagger.
Okay.
I will just give Bardic Inspiration now to Angry Woman with Long Stick.
Okay, we'll say since you're giving up your action, I'll let you do it. Normally you can't, but it's fun. So
Oh, thank you.
You are good to go on that. You can cast cantrips too after you do a healing word, just so you know.
Oh, that's true, and those are both actions. So yes, that's not bend rules. So I won't inspire. I will do cunning words. I'll say, "You big piece of bark, you leave our friends alone, or just rot in the earth."
Okay. So we'll say that whenever they take the next attack, that cutting words will go and it will apply to the, because that's a reaction to use that, right? Cutting words.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. It's whatever the.
Oh, you
Vicious
mean
Mockery.
Vicious Mockery.
That's the one.
That's the one. Against this guy?
Yeah.
And it's a wisdom save of 16?
Correct.
Got it. That is a...
Similarly named things.
So it has -7 health and it has disadvantage on its next attack. Good to know. Okay. Anthea.
Okay. I want to cast. Let's do Healing Spirit, and I'm gonna like max it out.
Okay.
5th level. And the way this works is it is a 5-foot cube, and I want it to be. It's a transparent beast or fey. It's gonna be a big transparent toad.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring your toad that I have over here, right here.
Yeah.
Here's Gleba.
Ta-da! And I'm giving Gleba to Naomi.
All right. So it's a 5-foot radius, right?
So every time, yeah, it's just a little 5-foot cube. It says, yeah.
Is it cube?
Yeah, 5-foot cube.
Cube it is.
Yay. Okay, and then every time she starts her turn there, she can get.
You get to roll on it every time, I think, yeah.
I think so.
Can you just, as soon as you cast it, do you get to just use it right away as well, or is it like a?
Let me just put it in here.
Okay.
And it
Moves
says
into
whenever
a
creature
okay.
moves into for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure if that counts until her turn.
It'll be on her turn, but that's coming up soon. So, and then
Okay.
we'll say when you'll just roll the dice again, and whichever one is higher, Naomi can have that one since it rolled a 16 for you. So if you roll and it's like a 10, she can have 16.
Perfect.
Anything else you wish to do?
So yes, so that was a bonus action. So
Oh, snap.
As an action, can I use one of my wild shapes to do my symbiotic entity?
You 100% can do that.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to gain. Sorry.
36.
More.
I think.
Okay. So I don't know how to actually trigger this on D&D Beyond.
Oh, so you can, if you go to the top of your sheet, there's the little Beyond 20 button. If you click on it, this should give you a little menu, and I think if you scroll down, there might be a symbiotic entity option you can click on. Maybe.
Oh, there it is. On.
And now whenever you roll or do whatever, it will do your symbiotic entity stuff.
For me? Perfect. And then that's temporary hit points, so I'll put them in a separate bar. Does that make sense?
Yep. So I don't like the way that they wrote the symbiotic entity. So it says until the temp hit points are gone or 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes.
Okay.
So if you lose to 36 hit points, you're still in symbiotic entity form for 10 minutes.
So it's not like being knocked out of your wild shape?
No, it's not. You'll have it for 10 minutes, or obviously if you go unconscious, you're unconscious. But yeah, because it's really unfair at low levels, in my opinion. So I just rule it as it's a flat. You're in it for 10 minutes unless you choose to drop it, use your wild shape for something else, or you're knocked unconscious. So.
Perfect. Okay, and that will be my turn now.
Okie dokie. All right. Vallista, you ran to what you thought was an exit and brought you right back to this giant golden hue of light in the middle of the forest, where there's a giant tree in front of you and some other stuff going on.
I realized I could have done something before, and it would have been a really funny twist of fate, but it's too late. Alright. These trees want to keep me here, then they can all wilt and die for all I care. I'm going to look at this tree right here
Mm-hmm.
and coalesce a lovely blast of frost, but not a ray of frost, and Eldritch Blast.
Okay, I think you get 2 Eldritch Blasts, right?
Do I?
Yeah,
At
'cause
least, if
yeah,
not
2
3.
beams at 5th level.
there you go. You get 3 at 11.
Boom.
So-
and then boom.
The first one misses. The second one hits. This tree is
Just-
looking on the bad side of life right now.
Just orbs of like icy energy just blast into it.
Anything else on your turn?
I'm assuming it would be an action to try to do so, but I just kind of want to run into the brush to try and keep myself.
Oh,
like,
you can just use your movement, just run into the brush. You just can't take the hide action, but you can just run and try and get cover.
Yeah.
So you effectively have like half cover right now because you're in the trees.
Go, like,
So
here. I'm just
Okay.
like I'm staying in the dark.
got it. Naomi. So firstly, Anthea, go ahead and roll your 4d6 for healings.
Sorry, what am I rolling again?
4d6.
Oh, okay.
And sorry, did we get healing the first time you did that, May? I might have missed healing myself.
No, so it's just it's the people in that square, and they get to get healed. So you'll get 16 instead of 9.
We'll take the first one.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
and
Thank
she can
you.
basically do healing equal to her wisdom modifier. So you have, I think, 4 heal, 1 plus your spellcasting modifier. So she gets to heal
So we just
4
got 9.
Only, I think it's only 9. Are you in that 5-foot square? I think you're just outside of it. Yeah, you're just outside of that square.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Step in the square.
but you can step in the square on your turn and get heals.
I will totally
That's
do that.
perfectly okay.
Leva will help you.
And Naomi, it is your turn.
Alrighty. So I'm just gonna stare up at the sky for a quick second and blink a couple times and remember hearing Pax shout his name. She will shout back, my name is Naomi Hall, and I will use half my movement to get up.
Sounds
And
good.
then I will hold my glaive out in front of me and close my eyes and focus. And as a bonus action, I'm going to light up my glaive with Snaring Smite at 3rd level.
Oh snap.
Yep, because I'm mad.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take my 2 attacks
Okay.
at him.
All right.
First
So-
attack is an 18.
So the first one hits, so that's where your Searing Smite will go off because it's on your first hit. So, and then it has to make a save? A con save?
Yes. So
Okay.
it takes the first one, and then the second one is if it gets on a failed save, it takes. Oh, here, let me just throw it in here.
Let's see. Until it ends makes con save. Okay. So, so it automatically takes it. So it takes that damage, and then on the start of each of its turn, it has to make a con save or take the additional damage. Got it. Cool. So it's on fire right now.
Yep.
We'll use this for on fire. Actually, it's gonna be green. It's looking very close to being dead. And you have 1 more attack.
I do, but I don't get to add the Snaring Smite
No,
in
nope,
with
it's
it.
just that- yeah, it's the one
That's
time.
so dumb. Like, it should just be a permanent thing on the. I would give up setting things on fire just to have a permanent on the thing.
There
But
you go.
that's just me. Hacha. 24 for 12.
You, after sliding through with your glaive and setting it on fire and almost igniting it from the inside, you turn your blade around just like a windmill, and the blade, as it's spinning, just severs this animated tree and just bisects it at the middle, and you cut it down. Literally, cut a tree down.
Cool.
So,
And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go here. And I'm going to end my turn there. And I'm going to be pointing towards this guy, basically indicating I'm going that way. But I need heals, so I go stay in
okay.
Froggy's square for now.
This animated tree, seeing that it's starting to be outnumbered, its brethren was knocked down, it's going to try to run. And it's going to run this way, which is half movement because these trees. So 10, 20, 30, and then 10, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I can get to there. That's as far as this tree can get right now. It's running away. Pax. You see this little
Since it
healing
is-
aura beside you, but it's also running away.
So let's step into the friend zone.
Okay,
I'll say
roll some 4d6.
I do or May does.
May does. Yeah, see what you get.
Okay, I will.
So you get 14 healing points, and that is the
Yay.
second heal of the number you can do with that.
Alright. Plus 14. There we go. And I'll say, should we try to make tracks before it or more come back? I think survival comes first, and I will kind of glare somewhat judgmentally at Naomi and say, we should put aside gripes, no matter how big or small, and focus on getting the heck out of here.
I wouldn't be too concerned. She's gone anyway. She's a runner.
Yeah. Let's see here, and I guess I'll do another healing word on Naomi, just in case, since we're not out of danger yet.
Cool,
So
cool,
let's
cool.
I'll do a level 2 R2D4 plus 4. That's 10 HP
Damn.
for Mademoiselle.
There you go.
Thank you.
Anything else on your turn?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
All right. Anthea, are you chasing this tree? You letting it run? What you doing?
I'm gonna agree with Pax on this one. It's a big angry tree.
Okay.
I'm gonna step into Kalipa's bubble too.
Roll
Can I
yourself
do
some
it
heals.
myself? I think I can, right?
Yeah. It just says it can heal
Fine.
up to 1 plus your wisdom modifier. So 18 heals for
Beautiful.
yourself. All right.
Okay.
You're just hanging there? Okay, Ballista, you see the one tree that you threw the ice beams at go down, and this other tree starts to run. What do you do?
I'm just going to
Do
dart a
you-
bit further.
Let me ask you, what languages do you speak?
I can speak Common, Elvish, Infernal, and Primordial.
You hear it saying in Elvish that it's going to run back to the hive to get the other, or to the grove to get the others, and these adventurers are going to be trapped in this woods forever until they starve to death or they're killed by the tree people. So
Fun.
yes, that's what you hear it say in Elvish, and you hear other bits of language that you don't understand, but that's the bits that you can pick up on. So. Anything you would like to do on your turn?
Game. Wish I had more snacks to stress eat, but I stress ate them all.
There you go. You just stay in there.
I am going to. I'm gonna step out into the open,
Okay.
and I am going to shout out, just plain shout out, and say, as much as I'd hate to work together, if you don't want to be stuck here for the rest of your lives, I suggest we bring the big thing down. And I will fire off 2 Eldritch Blasts.
All right. Do it. Okay. Let me do the math on the second one first. So, that's 11, and the second one is 8. Oh, it's 18. Yeah. So you did 29 damage. That is nice. Those were some good hits on this tree. As you throw these 2 icy Eldritch Blasts at it, you blow off one of its 4 arms that it has there, and it just like falls to the ground, and it starts lumbering further and further.
Honestly, to reflavor it, I like to imagine as I'm walking out and shouting this, I'm firing off both blasts at the same time as I'm saying everything.
Fair enough. I like it. Naomi, it is your turn. Do you, Anthea, consider Naomi when you cast that spell, did you consider her a foe?
Which spell?
The terrain.
I sort of just was to make a protective ring about the 2 of us. So
Okay. You can always drop it too if you need to. But yeah, so I just wanted
Yeah,
to
if
make
I
sure.
could,
Yeah, okay.
that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
So you drop the old roots.
Now that we're friends,
Now that you are
we're
friends.
not enemies.
Names and everything.
Yay!
There you go.
Well, I only know Pax's name.
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
so
that's
you
very
see the spiky barbed vines kind of shrivel up back into the ground at Anthea's command. It's almost like you sucked the life energy out of them and produced them in spores on yourself, and it went from protecting you on the ground to protecting you on your person. So,
Okay.
do you want more heals? Because you are in the healing bubble still, Naomi. You can get more
Yes, please.
heals.
I have a hot,
Yes,
quick
yes, yes.
question on the
Mhm.
topic of names, real quick. Would Vallista know who Naomi is, and vice versa? I assume yes.
Naomi knows who Vallista is because she was given the specific job to hunt you. And roll a history check real quick, Vallista.
Okay. Where's history? Where's history? There's history.
You don't know who she is. You've
So
heard
just a
you've
number.
heard that there are guards that are sent on missions because they're fantastic hunters and they have very good odds at getting what they need done. But you've never heard of or seen Naomi before. But Naomi, it is your turn.
I'm gonna move my 30 feet of movement
Okay.
here, and taking into account what Felicity just said, you see her eyes kind of narrow, but you also see the flame on her glaive go away, and she points the long part of the glaive towards the tree, and she shouts, "Get back here and fight me!" And I will use the spell Compelling Duel.
Oh no. Okay.
Get your ass back here.
It
Get your ass back
does
here.
that. On a failed save is drawn to you compelled for the duration. It's disadvantage on attack rolls against other than you. Must have wisdom save each time. Succeeds. Spell ends. So basically, it just has to come back to you now and fight you. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and essentially it can't willingly move any more. Like, it doesn't have to engage with me, but it cannot willingly move more than 30 feet away from me.
Okay. That was your bonus action. Do you want to do anything for your action? You can hold it until it gets to you if you want.
Yeah, I would love to. And when you hold an attack action, you only hold one attack, or do you
Nope,
hold your entire
you get
action,
the
which means I would
whole
hold
action. You get the whole action. So like,
Cool.
if you ever had 3 attacks, you could hold all 3 and bang. You just burn your reaction to unleash them. So, but yeah, so this animated tree, you see it starting to run, and one of its arms is blasted off, and it kind of stops, and it turns, and it starts to make its way back to you, and it
Dun,
basically
dun,
ends up in your
dun.
face. But yeah, you can take your action.
two. Howdy.
So that-
24.
Yeah, that hits. That does not.
Natural 1. That does not. Crap.
All right, so it just moved out the way as you went to like slice across it. It kind of your glaive got stuck, and you had to pull it out, which gave it the ability to not have to take a second hit. But it's gonna take 2 swings at you. At 14 and a 22.
The 22 hits, the 14
All
doesn't.
right, so you have 11 bludgeoning damage. Pax.
Got it.
That is your turn.
All right. Since I haven't seen Ballista, but I've heard the rallying cry.
Mm-hmm.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum.
Do you want?
I
You
think-
can also get heals from Gleba if you want to, because you're here too.
Sure. Yes.
The last thing I can.
This is the 4th one. What's your wisdom modifier?
If someone else needs it more, I will wait. I'm
4.
only down
So you get
15
5.
HP.
It's 1 plus your
Okay.
wisdom modifier. So this will be your 4th one of 5.
Okay, then I will take it gladly.
Yay!
Hey, it's 5.
Oh,
Hey man,
something.
it's 5 free heal points basically.
Yay. Okay.
Alrighty.
So I will bonus action jump from my magical satyr shoes, and I will
Ooh.
say, "We do not want to be stuck. We don't want to be stuck here." Jump. And I'm not trying to jump and land. I'm trying to jump and kick it hard in the face, and then kind of like backflip away.
I like it.
Whee!
Roll your satyr kick attack.
Whee! Okay. And I think I get advantage because of special item? Question mark.
I don't know off the top of my head, but we're just gonna say yeah because that sounds cool right now.
Let me look at the
So
thing. It increases the damage. No.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Make a
so-
running jump. Use momentum to force produce the extra 1d6 plus dex. So let's go ahead and just do the ram attack. Do. Burp.
That hits.
Oops. Oh, I did not mean to click it twice, but it's the same thing, so who cares?
There you go.
And then we'll add the d6. R1d6. I think
Okay.
it's a flat d6. Let's check. Yes. And then can I do an acrobatic check to backflip and not stay on tree? I would like to like kick and
Yeah, absolutely.
not stay there, you know.
Absolutely.
Let's stick the landing. Ha.
Okay. Yeah, you stick the landing.
Okay.
So no problem at all. Anthea.
Okie dokie. I'm going to move here, and then I should be able to blight again.
Oh snap.
at fourth level.
Oh jeez. Okay. 16. Oh my good god. And it's disadvantage because you know he's a plant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 64 damage. Do you get extra stuff because of your spores? Or is that just a melee?
Only within 10 feet of them, and they
Okay.
keep getting booped away from me before I can do that as the reaction. So
Okay.
no.
So you guys see Anthea just walk a little closer, and it's almost like this swarm of. Well, you describe what your spore swarm looks like as it kills this tree.
Yay! So she's in her spores form, so, basically she's communing with all of the, fungi that she has, and also the ones that I'm guessing there's some in the forest because fungal networks are crazy. And it just is like a puff of spores that floats over and just saps the life energy from this tree.
And you guys
Yes,
see
they are fun guys.
this tree almost just start wilting. It dries up. All the moisture seems to be stricken from this tree, and it just kind of turns into one of those. I forget what the word is, but they're like the black ashy looking trees that seem to have all their force taken out of them. Not desecrated, but the other word. But yeah, this tree just kind of on the spot just wilts. Petrified. That's the word. All the life force seems to be drained out of this tree. It becomes a petrified remains of its husk of its former self. The sunlight is still permeating in this darkness. And with that, we're going to end today's session at the end of combat. So, until next time, we will see you all then, and we'll see what happens next time.
Thank you, Alex.